Welcome to Comics with Jose. My name is Jose. I love comics and I want to share them with you. Follow me on Twitter at Art of J. Velez or on Instagram at jvelez622. I share some doodles and drawings as well as a comic book that I'm working on free of charge. Like, follow, and subscribe if you enjoy this. We'll go over comic books that I have and enjoy. However, I do use the digital version for the purposes of this. We kind of review the artwork and the story of comic books that I think are pretty cool and I think people should read and get. Hope you enjoy it. Welcome back, everyone. We are going to go over my most favorite manga of all time, which is Akira. This is book one. It is a collection. It's divided into 6 books of approximately 300 to 400 pages each. So, the Akira is written and drawn by Katsuhiro Otomo, who is there's no words to describe him. He is insanely detailed. I have no idea how he put this out weekly. I know he had assistants, but this is originally published in the early 80s. So if you look at the copyright, 1982 is when it first started coming out in Japan. By the time this was collected, it had already ended. But this thing has an animated movie that he wrote and directed. The guy does anime also. The movie is different than his. It's the same concept, it's the same premise, but it doesn't follow it 100%. But it is him writing and directing it, so it's still his vision. He just went on another route. So the anime movie is no, it's nor is it as intense. This thing is this is a work of art that should be in a museum. So it starts out in color. Each one of the 6 volumes starts in color, and we're just gonna. I'm not gonna go through this story. It's too much. So we're just gonna be looking at the art. Buy these books. I strongly recommend you go get these books. I have all 6 volumes, and they're absolutely riveting. So we start out here. At this time, so remember the book was in 1982, so 10 years into the future at that time in 1992. So a bomb of some. I love this circle. Like everybody wants to do an atomic bomb, and I think this half circle is so much better. So So something's happened, and really you have to read it. So something's happened, and you're just given little things as you read it. It doesn't just tell you everything. It just gives you a little bit at a time. This is, like I said, these early parts are painted, but then it just goes into the normal black and white. These were So, unlike your typical manga that is read from this way to this way, this one's actually read from this way to this way. This one was westernized. So, keep in mind that when you look at it, it was flipped for American Western. This is in the early days. So, right off the bat, look at this. This guy used screen tones. He used everything to create atmosphere and to create. I mean, look at this. Look at this detail. My goodness gracious. Who it's insane. Who does this? He does, obviously, but look at this. It is just insane amount of detail. He is drawing and laying. That's why he says he does not work with assistants, but there's no way one single person could have done all this on such a quick amount of time. Not with this. I mean, he is, 'cause these things were coming out weekly, so some he had to have assistance. There's just no way he did this without assistance. I refuse to believe it. I admire his, but I mean, look at this. His drawing is still top notch, but I just don't think he drew every single line. He had to have people with his direction. Putting in the lines. So, like I said, you read this like a normal comic book, even though it's a manga. You read it like a normal comic book. So this is actually our hero. Um, so this is where that blast had happened. So 10 years or in '92. Um, so all our two main people start off in the beginning, and then everybody else just kind of trails in and out throughout the series. But we have the two main people. The hero and the villain are introduced right away with these kids, and then Akira doesn't show up till much later. But you'll find out who Akira is when you read this, because I think it's absolutely great. So this kid Tetsuo didn't see this kid coming, and somehow the bike exploded so it wouldn't hit him. So you know that there's powers involved. So and this is our main guy, and Tetsuo is our main villain. So the guy is just a master storyteller, a master drawer. Just how much screen tones the guy uses. I mean, if, like I said, he swears he doesn't use assistants. So if he doesn't use assistants, my God, wow. So, I mean, look at this. Look at the perspective. It's just amazing. So, so these are they're supposed to be teenagers, and they are um, wards of the state. They don't have their orphans, so they're always getting in trouble. So they're being dealt with. And I understand it's 2023, but I'm quite sure this still happens. Yeah, people don't change. I don't believe humanity has been the same way since the beginning. Just technology advances, but humans are humans. Look at this detail. I mean, this is why people don't think he drew everything himself. I mean, look at this. This would take me, even if I traced this would probably take me a week. Just look at the detail. My goodness gracious. Amazing. Look at this. The speak. I mean, goodness gracious. He's slinging ink. He's throwing screen tones. This book is just one of the most, like, if I had to look at a perfect book, this would be one of them. So I'm gonna try to hurry along because there's 300. I'm gonna try to do the whole volume here, volume one. So, but I don't want to take too much time. So I'm just gonna uh, go along, move it along here. But look at the just. I'm just impressed. It's just impressive. These aren't screen tones. This is oh my goodness gracious, what is it called? Dual shade. So all right, so this is dual shade. This is actually painted or not painted using a chemical. Um, if you there's lessons on dual shade if you ever are curious about it. YouTube has lessons on using dual shade, but it's a special paper with a chemical that comes in. So, and you brush it in to create these lines here. So, all right, so let's keep going here. Um, the guy's a great drawer. Look at all these. My goodness, I mean, he was doing these lines before McFarlane was doing them. Just look at that. I mean, this is he's again. He says he didn't have assistants, but what the heck? It's impossible to believe. Um, and I don't know if he thinks that it would make him less of an artist because he has assistants, but if he didn't, goodness gracious, this is just remarkable. So, um, Kaneda's been looking for this kid here because of Tetsuo. So, he's a psychic, so he's got psychic powers. So he just has powers. So, um, go to Wikipedia and if you want to see what's going on, or Akira, you can go to YouTube. There's a lot of places where you can go to get all the information on Akira. It's a well documented because it's a very respected manga. So um, I won't kind of just so you can familiarize. It's just too big a story for me to try and explain to everyone every time because it's very a lot of moving pieces happening. So just trying to focus on the art. Goodness gracious, look at that. The dude was such a drawer. And they're looking for him too. They're looking for they're look the military is looking for the guy too. So it's a lot of moving parts like I said. It's quite the epic. I just it's just hard not to love this because the guy is such a drawer, such a good drawer. Sorry, I was trying to pause here, but accidentally kind of went through. She's also will be big on the rest of the series, but like I said, Kaneda is the star or your main good guy, and then he will be in most of the series here. So, like I said, it's like a post-apocalyptic future. At least Japan is post-apocalyptic. I don't know whether the whole world is like that or just Japan or if Japan just was a no man's land or whatever. But there's a lot of international intrigue and a lot of mysteries. I mean, oh man, look at him just hatching these out. I mean, he's just using a pen probably and just hatch, hatch, hatch. Amazing screen tones here and screen tones here. I mean, he's putting screen tone. I mean, goodness, he's got to have assistance. And then here he's hatching. Goodness gracious, look at this. You guys tell me, do you believe he had an assistant or assistants? Because I don't even know if one assistant can do all this. I think he had multiple assistants. So, or do you guys believe that he did all this by himself? I lean in the he had assistance. Look at his all the screen tone. I mean, just putting it. This wasn't done with computers. I mean, people had to lay this down. This just not very easy to do. And using dual shade here. I mean, wow. So I'm just gonna kind of move it along here. I mean, you look at each page, it's just a work of art. Everything. I mean, this guy draws so well. Everyone knows how much I love the One Punch Man, and it's my currently my favorite. That and here, My Hero Academia and the One Punch Man are just great stuff. Here's some dual shade. Um, they're just great stuff. But this takes the cake because none of them draw like this. This amount of detail, even if he has assistance, the detail that he uses, wow. So I mean, he's inking. That again, inking all these lines. No way. No way one person did all this. Not in that speed. If he has, I mean, a page a day, and these things were coming out weekly. So, you to for manga you have to do several pages a day. I mean, it's just they want it weekly. So you have to either he was working on this thing from the 70s and then just had a whole bunch and then they were able to, or I mean, if he was drawing it with just a few months notice, then there's no way. So I wish this would get adapted into a full anime, like every done the way that it's written. This or a live action TV show, done in Japan and just dubbed in English. Using real um, Japanese actors. Probably dubbed into English, but filmed in its original language. Because my goodness, how could this not be a hit? Even now in 2023, goodness gracious, it's already written and you don't even have to add anything. I mean, and it moves at great speeds. I mean, look at this. There's not a lot of words. I mean, the words are spread out through this. I mean, it's mostly silent. You just read a little bit here and there. I mean, it's just great stuff. So I kind of missed about these pills, but like I said, read the book. Um, it's it's just amazing drawing. Look at this. Every book, yeah. Uh, Look at the detail of putting all these things on that table. So I was originally gonna break this down into different sections, but it's really hard to know where these books just kind of left off because they they just put these out in volumes, so it's very difficult. Look at all these kids and drawing. Oh goodness. So Tetsuo will be our villain, um, and Kaneda is our hero. Look at this. Look at all these lines, just amazing stuff. So look at this. Yeah, he had assistance. I am convinced he had assistance. I think this is photocopied right here, but oh, I just look at the action. It looks just, oh my goodness gracious. If you go online and look at his art, I mean, he truly is very detailed. When you watch him do his stuff, he's very detailed. Look at this. But how detailed? And I mean, it's just how possible is it to have something like this come out weekly? I mean, it's not like 300 pages came out each week, but each manga is each story is about 15 pages. So 15 to 20 pages, I should say, because it varies. So, I mean, this dude has to draw at least 2 pages a day. Look at this level of detail. You can't tell me he is staying. I mean, this would take one of these would take an average person 1 day plus, and doing 2 pages with this level of detail, yeah. So here we go, kind of moving it along. I mean, look at how quickly this thing reads. You can probably read each volume, and it takes you longer to look at the art than it probably does to actually read it, because that was my problem. So I it took me 3 months to go through all 6 volumes because I was just hooked up on the art. I try to read it every few years just because I just love it so much. It truly is um, so epic. Now, all these other mangas that have come out recently are longer. I mean, Akira, when you think about it, Akira is maybe about half the size of some of these other mangas. One Punch Man, goodness gracious, they have so many volumes out there. So it's a bigger story. So is My Hero Academia. So is, I mean, most of these famous ones are. And Akira, when you compare it, is much shorter. But the drawing in Akira is different than anything else anybody else has ever done. So look at this. I mean, goodness gracious. He had to have this molded. There's no way that he freehanded this all the time. I mean, he had to have a little model, probably, that he had somebody made for him. Look at this. Yeah. Amazing, amazing, amazing. The level of detail is phenomenal. His shadow over the, I mean, wow, what a master composer, but not composer as in the just composing of arrangement. What a master drawer. What a just I just fawn over him. I really wanted to get to Akira. So this is such a I every this should be on everyone's house. If you love comic books, um don't hate on manga. This thing is should be on everyone's. This is Watchmen. This is Dark Knight Returns. This is um all these great. This is as good as any of them, if not even better. The amount of the story is just really, really. It's hard to really describe it unless you really read this. This should be in everyone's house. This is a literature masterpiece done in drawing, done in manga. So we're almost halfway through. So kinda just look at the detail. Goodness gracious, screen tones on here. I mean, yeah. Oh, goodness gracious. This if go to YouTube and find out how you do screen tones, and then you'll go, oh my goodness gracious, that is difficult. Not on a computer, not on an iPad. Those times have. Look at this. Even for look at this detail. Wow. Nobody does this. Who does this? This is 19 in the early 1980s. Look at this. Look at that. When they jump in, just it's amazing. It's amazing. I can't tell people enough how great this series is. It's one of the very best. You can't read this series and not be amazed at its composition, its everything. This guy is such an amazing drawer. So look at this. He throws inks. He just throws lines, hatching. Again, I think this is photocopies right up here. So I think this portion here is photocopies. So Tetsuo has escaped. Tetsuo was trapped in there because of the he's gaining superpowers. These guys have been experimenting basically to create superpowers and psychic, and Tetsuo makes this guy's brain explode, which is what happened to that other guy. And that's what those pills were for, to try and create um, these these things. But you know what they say about power, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So this is basically the lesson. Um, so Kaneda's getting feelings for that girl. Look at this art. Goodness gracious. He's the leader of that gang. And things aren't going to go good for him. So, yeah, look at how this guy just his invention, how he puts things in, his compositions, even with assistance, he's remarkable. He's just a remarkable drawer. Look at this, a double page spread. Even on panels that just he's got stuff going on. It's so visually this book is so visually stimulating. You could just stare at it. I mean, like I said, it takes me longer to. So this is going up and down. I mean, who draws this? It just look at this detail. My goodness gracious. So this book, it, you have to own it. You can get it on Amazon. This isn't a huge, you'll never own the originals. They're too much money, but you can get this collections. I have them in the trades. I bought them off Amazon. I think they were $20 at a time when I bought them. Now, because of inflation, they're probably like $30. But each book, like I said, it's about 350 to 400 pages, relatively. So look at this. What an amazing artist. Amazing. He composes these panels and these action sequences. You can also tell he's a director as well for um, anime, and you can tell that he has an eye for what how he wants a scene. That's why I just can't believe that he does this all by himself, because it's just impossible. Look, it's impossible. So I'm in the assistant camp. So we got about 120 pages to go. So just amazing. I know I say amazing a lot, but I mean, what else am I gonna say? It's just amazing. Goodness. I just can't recommend this series enough. 6 volumes, like I said. It takes you longer to stare at each page and looking at this level of detail than it does to read. It reads rather quickly. If you actually would not pause to look at all this detail and just kind of, you can probably read it in about each book in probably about an hour and a half. But it's looking at all this detail that I think is what makes it um just spectacular. The art just takes it over the top. We'll probably just do this once a month because this is a long. So the clowns is the rival gang that the kids were in. So, and here, as you can see, just in the first book, that Tetsuo was already becoming evil. So we are in almost, we've got probably less than 100 pages to go. We haven't even seen Akira yet. Akira does not come through. He's mentioned a few times, but he has yet to. If you go to Wikipedia, or if you go to there is a wiki for Akira. You can find everything you want on Akira just in there. So I just this would take hours for me to just go through each panel. So this is the best I can do to try and keep it moving. It's a complete story, like I said. So you just bite the bullet, get all 6 volumes, and enjoy. Man, oh man, this is just art at its finest. Art at its finest. Just great stuff. I mean, you saw that shot of Kaneda sitting on the bike. I mean, how badass is that? Just look at this. Oh, my goodness gracious. So I'm just kind of commenting along as I see something. I'll say something, but it just I wish I could stop. I mean, imagine if I stopped at every panel to just awe at each one. Man, we'd be here forever. This is just volume one, so still 5 other ones after this. So I strongly recommend getting these. So already, in just the first volume, Kaneda and Tetsuo are already going at it. I don't know why there's such an aversion to manga from the American comic book fans. It's it's I don't know if people even realize this. Manga outsells Western comics by a lot. this is mostly what people read. I wish comics would take some lessons from this. Look at this. Look at each line. Goodness gracious. So we're almost done here. There's probably about 30 pages left, so Tetsuo can lift things and he's got powers. What's it saying? When you have a chance to kill someone, kill them if they're the but make sure they're dead. Can save a lot of problems. Just gonna pause real here. Look at, oh my goodness gracious. Nobody draws like this, people. Nobody, 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 nobody. Look at this. Just so Tetsuo becomes even more powerful, believe it or not. He's powerful here, and you saw how they almost had him, but they did not. So, you know, everybody wants to study, everybody wants to see what's up, so that's people don't learn lessons. So, like I said, he gets even more powerful. Look at this detail. So he offers him more pills to get him to go in there, and so I believe this is it. So we have concluded volume 1 of Akira. I'm telling you, go buy this. You won't regret this. Like, follow, subscribe.